we doing, guys? Welcome to another episode of Quarantine Cocktails with at Blair Bartending CLT, or Will Blair as I am colloquially known. I was challenged with coming up with a dessert drink for our weekly cocktail class that the Cotton Room puts on every week, and I've actually never come up with my own dessert drink for. I love making them. I love making grasshoppers and chocolate martinis, stuff like that. I always enjoy a good dessert drink if made properly after a nice meal, but I was challenged with making one myself, and I think I turned out with something really awesome, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So this is called the Feather in Your Nightcap, and you'll see why in a minute. So the recipe we're going to be working with today is 1.5 ounces of Zaya Gran Reserva Rum, 3/4 of an ounce of Disaronno almond liqueur, 1/2 of a pear slice, 6 cloves, 2 to 3 dashes of ground nutmeg, 2 dashes of bitters, and 2 big old scoops of ice cream. Oh, and the rosemary syrup. And that's about 3/4 of an ounce of the rosemary syrup. So, first things first. There's a bunch of different stuff in here, but first things first, we're going to take just a whole half of a pear, one big half pear slice, and we're just going to drop it on in there. Next, we're going to grab our bitters, just regular Angostura aromatic bitters. Whenever someone just says bitters, this is most likely what they mean. We're going to do 2 dashes of that in there on top of the pear. And next, we are just going to muddle the crap out of this, really. We want to get that pear all mushed up, get all those nice pear juices, and get that bitters in there to mix with it as well. And it's going to create a nice little base for this drink, and it's going to be delicious, trust me. This drink was so popular that I feel like I had to make a video for it. I had to share it with the world, so to speak. So that's good. We got it all nice and crushed up and mixed together. Next, we're going to add some of the other secondary ingredients as well, just because it's easier. Here I have 6 cloves, and here you probably can't really see it. Yeah, they're in there. 6 cloves, because we want these spices to work with the pear, and we're going to be adding the rum and the liqueur later. So, and then we're going to add the rest of our spices, which is our ground nutmeg, and we're just going to do about 2 shakes of that. 1, 2. There we go. That's a good one. After that, we're going to start moving on to the fun stuff here. So, the base of this drink is going to be our Zaya Gran Reserva. It's a blend of 12 different rums from Trinidad and Tobago, going upwards of 16 years. They have a master blender that blends all these things together. I love Zaya. I love making cocktails with it. You can make even just a great Manhattan or even an old-fashioned with it, and it turns out really, really well. It's one of my favorite aged rums, and we're just going to add 1.5 ounces of that. Next, we have our accent, which is going to be our Disaronno. And Disaronno is an almond liqueur that works fantastic in dessert drinks. Fun fact about Disaronno, if you mix it with ginger ale, it tastes exactly like cherry soda for some bizarre reason, and it's delicious. I highly recommend you check it out. Let me not get in the way here. And that's just going to be 3/4 of that. Last but not least, we have our rosemary syrup. Now, how you make rosemary syrup is basically you just make simple syrup and you add basically 1/4 cup of rosemary leaves in with it. But if you're even too lazy to do that, you can literally just use regular simple syrup and throw a stalk of rosemary in with this when we shake it, and it should work out just as well. So I'm going to add 3/4 of an ounce of that. And then we're going to go ahead and add our ice and shake it. You want to shake this really hard. The harder you shake the drink, the better it's going to be. Get this top off, if it wants to agree with me. Oh, just give that a nice little whiff if you're making this at home. That's fantastic. So, next, we're going to actually go ahead And this is where it gets kind of fun. This is where it gets really fun here. So we're going to take our glass, and we're going to take 2 big old scoops of ice cream, or just one really big one. There we go. I got a nice big one right here. And we're going to try and get this in here without making too much of a mess. Without breaking the... And I'm going to use this fork to help get this off because it is not cooperating, of course, while I'm doing a recording. But anyway, we got the ice cream on in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our Carico strainer. We want a finely wound mesh strainer to keep all those chunks and cloves and pear chunks out of there. If you do not have a tightly wound one, you can use a double mesh strainer. You can do that to get all these chunks out. So we're just going to pour this really just directly right on top of the ice cream here. And this one, it kind of comes out a little slow just because of how thick it is. But trust me, the wait will be worth it. Kind of shake it a little bit, helps it speed up just a little bit. Great, and we're back. Now that we've got all that deliciousness in there, we're just going to top it off with another little dash of ground nutmeg right on top of the ice cream there. Yeah, that's nice. All right, and finally, the feather, for the feather in the nightcap, which is just a nice little small stalk of rosemary. And we're just gonna plop it right in there, right on top. And that's why it's called the feather in your nightcap. So, cheers guys. See how it turned out. Oh, that's good. It's delicious. You got the rosemary shining through, the vanilla ice cream, the pear, the cloves, even the spices and the rum and the Disaronno blend together. Just this great, sweet dessert awesomeness, and I love it. And I hope you guys too do try this at home. I can't recommend this enough. I'm really proud of this one. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, if you do try it at home, comment, tell me what you think. I'm glad to make this for you guys. I'm glad to be back doing this again. One final PSA, like I like to do at the end of my videos: please wear a mask. Please social distance. Wear a mask, social distance. Don't be stupid. I love you all. Blair Bartending, CLT, signing off.